All right, everybody, welcome to another Tattuesday update. Today we're checking in with retailers from New York and New Jersey, and we have Mo with us to introduce you to our accounts. Go ahead, Mo.
How you doing? We have Tommy Farrell from Nickel City Cigars in Buffalo, New York. We have KC from Heritage Premium Cigars down in Marlton, New Jersey. Mike Glynn from Rocky's Newsstand in Syracuse. We also have Carlo from Rocky's Newsstand in Syracuse. And we have, last but not least, Bob Tisdale from Tismart Cigar Shop in Brewerton. Welcome, guys.
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
What's going on?
So basically, everyone, we want to give you a good 5 minutes or so to introduce yourself, talk about your shop, your history with Tattuai, anything else you want to talk about, that kind of stuff. So we'll just
what you've been doing during this COVID situation, and also now during these crazy times, and whether or not any of your stores or locations have been at risk of being in the middle of anything recently.
anything you want. So we'll just go in order, Mo. Who'd you introduce first, Tommy?
Tommy Farrell from Nickel City Cigars in Buffalo.
All right, Tommy.
All right, guys. So obviously we're the new account on the block, so to speak. It's been a little different. I guess I'll start with the history first. I made the jump from healthcare. I couldn't do it anymore. I was a skilled nursing and rehab administrator, long-term care sector, and I just got frustrated, tired. I was burnt out, I guess. That was 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, just exhausting, and I was tired of making money for someone else, so I decided to go be poor and run a brick and mortar, right? And some good people gave me advice that don't do it. You're in New York. It's an uphill battle, which Mike could probably touch on when he talks about his involvement with the NYTA and such. But I decided to do it anyways because for Buffalo, for example, we're kind of triangled by Indian reservations that have no tax, and but they're you can get boutique out there. I won't name them, but it's a drive. No matter which direction you go from the city, it's a drive. It's 40 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes in certain directions. So there was a void here in Buffalo for the boutique side, specifically in the city, which is where I frequent. There's some great food. Buffalo's a food city, the theater district. So everything that leaves Broadway and Manhattan, they come here to Shays here in Buffalo. So I'm literally right behind Shays Performing Arts. I'm right in front of the Chop House downtown. I share the same valet. So it's very high end where I am. Although I haven't shared too much of the internal, I've shared enough of it. Those that are close and those in my private group have certainly gotten a taste of the actual brick and mortar. But it's been a long road. I formed the LLC probably about 14 months ago, launched the e-commerce in August. I had a hell of a time getting a merchant account because the high-risk nature of tobacco. That caused some delays. Then I went into the building location and the zoning. City was not very kind. I had multiple delays, finally get to a grand opening, which, as you know, is to be done by Tattuai. March 21st, had the band booked. We had a great blues band that was coming out. The catering was all set up. All good to go. And then 5 days before the event, we got the city lockdown. So that's that. That's the story. The e-commerce is doing well. It is what it is. The brick and mortar, I've been open from the beginning for curbside only. I've not allowed anybody to come in. So we've been doing okay. I mean, there's probably anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen curbsides a day. We get calls on the weekends. We come in, we do appointments, things of that nature. So it's been great. Been having a lot of fun with the e-commerce side and the digital side of all of this. Mo's been instrumental in growing the brand here. Obviously, I've been a consumer of the brands for a decent amount of time here. Been to most everybody's shops here on the screen, Bob's and Mike's and, Casey. I've not made it down to Heritage, but I hope to do that soon. When the world goes back online. I've been having fun. And truthfully, the place is great. It's a little different. The vibe is where I'm sitting right now is at the bar for the private member lounge. We do have a private member lounge. There will be a membership. There'll be lockers for rent as well. Relatively, the market average here in the area, which is about $200 for a membership. You do that, then you get the locker at a reduced cost as well. Our model is simple. We work for you. We're not going to bring everything, in. We're not going to sell you everything but the kitchen sink. That's what makes us a little different than our local competitors here in the area, whereas they will sell everything from the General and Altadis, whereas we're always going to keep our SKUs low. We want to really put our attention and effort into the brands and carefully select who we do business with. Obviously, I can look back at Vegas last year. It was the first time I'd actually gotten to meet Pete. I'd met his parents more than I had met him, and that was really cool. How I was treated at the Tatuaje booth was very different than how I was treated anywhere else. Even coming in with, lint and coins in my pockets, it was pretty cool. That's it. I love Mo. He's a big teddy bear. He's my guy. And that's that. We're going to do a chicken wing tour here in Buffalo when he gets out. I tried to hide the beef on weck chicken wings from him for long enough, but he found out and called me on a Sunday night and yelled at me. So that's that.
Mm-hmm. Don't mess with my food, man, and my wings.
I was just going to say, Mo, he mentioned wings, but he said beef on weck. But what, Tommy, are those flavored wings? Beef on weck flavored wings?
Yeah, so obviously in Buffalo, you can go every 2 blocks and you're going to see a chicken wing or a pizza joint, right? And so the wings are synonymous, and everybody gets creative. Some people keep it simple: hot, medium, mild, barbecue, charred barbecue. But some places get real fancy and they make crazy sauces. And this one place does beef on weck wings, because beef on weck is a local thing. It's a Chemehueck roll with shaved roast beef on it, kind of like prime rib and a little au jus. So it's a phenomenal, and you put a little horseradish on there, and it's a deal. So you take that and you make it a wing sauce, and Mo's in love.
I feel like I'm having a heart attack just hearing about it.
Oh, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
Okay, Mr. Healthy.
There's this place called Bar Bill, and they're on everybody's Buffalo, New York's like top 3 list. And what they're awesome for is you can get, it's on the menu, a medium-sized beef on weck and a single order of wings, and it's like $13, and it's phenomenal. Get a little PBR, get yourself sideways, and you're having a good day.
Yeah, but
PBR, I love it.
Does the beef on weck compare, though? Because Mo and I have our favorite place there.
Yeah, we've been.
So what, Charlie's?
Charlie's, yeah, we've been to Charlie's.
No, so it's the 2 places that are in everybody's top 1, 2 interchangeable are Charlie's and Bar Bill. I personally prefer. Yeah, I personally prefer Bar Bill because I can get the wings too, and
right.
So for me, it doesn't make sense to go to one when I could be a fat man and do both at the same time. And did I mention the PBR in the can? Because you can do that.
Yes, got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we don't have. So we're still not open. This is the last thing that I'll say. We're still not open. We're not clear to open just yet. So we're still doing curbside and online only right now. And we envision, if things stay on the course they're on, we're about 2 weeks away from opening the doors. And then we're going to look at scheduling a real grand opening for end of July, maybe into August. So we might do something small before then. It's going to be – Mo, are you getting bombed over there? What's happening?
Mo, is that you?
No, I'm so close to the main highway that the motorcycles are going by. No, you'd know if it was me. It's got a little more bass to it, Pete.
So the wine bar and whiskey bar, the Buffalo, the SLA does not like tobacco, obviously, and booze in the same place at the same time. So the club side. So our lawyers are still fighting with the SLA for our liquor license. It could be July, it could be August, it could be November. We don't know. I'm leaving that up to the lawyers. But there's a cool artisan coffee joint here in downtown Buffalo. It's called Tipico, Tipico, Tipico Coffee, and they do an amazing cold brew, and they're going to do a hybrid, which is like a cream soda cold brew for me and some other type things. So the espresso bar is going to be here, and then we'll have Johnny Ryan's like cream soda glass bottles. So there will be a menu, and then I'm right in the food area downtown, so all the takeout places to do food here because we can't store and maintain food or prepare. So there will be a limited menu here until we get the liquor license. But we worked with Cuvée Imports here in Western New York to build out the wine listing, which I'm very proud of. It was probably the best thing I got to do when we were going through the build-out phase here. Was I just got shit-faced in the middle of the day drinking wine. There was too much of it that was so amazing that I had never experienced, as novice as I am with wines. I'm amateur, but I felt bad spitting it out or dumping the glass out that I just couldn't do it because some of the stuff was so bougie. So the wine list is incredible. I did it so that we could lure Pete here one day. That's just the plan. And so it's very, very high end, very expensive, bottle options, glass options. And then the whiskey.
It could be bougie. And it could be a good wine list, but if the prices are bad, I'm not buying.
Well, yours should be free, right? That's how it works.
No, dude, honestly, I always look for a deal. I mean, when I go into a restaurant, I look for the best bottle I can find at the best price point. And usually there's always a fine because they usually underprice a couple things that they don't normally sell, and they're like hidden gems. So
I'll shoot the list over to you. I'll shoot the list over to you one of these days so you can see it. But I put, friendly price points in there, medium, and then I put some of the skyrocketing stuff on there that I know that just money bags will eat up. So I was smart about it. I tried to be. Right. So Tattuesday is our foundation. We love you guys. We love Mo. Thank you for the AKC. It meant a lot to me that you guys were willing to do that when I lost the grand opening. That was really cool. Casey and I are going to go get sideways up at the wharf in Augusta the next time I'm up there visiting the fam. And my old.
Don't worry, Tommy. We'll come back to you. Don't worry. We'll come back to you.
Thanks, Tommy.
Yep,
Mo, because we're going to do a group session in a second. But Mo, who do you got next? I want to hear from everybody.
Mike Glynn from Rockies.
Yeah, guys, great to be on the call. Great to see everybody.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, man. KC, Dan, good to see everybody.
You too?
You mentioned you were in Albany.
Yeah, made a little run down the thruway today. Easy drive.
Everything safe down there?
Yeah, actually, I talked to a couple shop owners down there that they had some mayhem, just like a lot of the other cities. I understand last night things calmed down in Syracuse. Maybe Bob knows. I think they took the curfew off in Syracuse yesterday. I'm pretty sure, but it's the first I'd heard it. But that's good news. We ended up closing.
I'm in Miami now. And the curfew in Los Angeles is 4 p.m.
Oh,
Jeez.
Wow.
So, anyways, back to a regular program. Go ahead,
Mike. Tell us about the evolution a little bit at Rockies.
Yeah, because it's actually a really cool evolution. So let's hear the story.
It's a long road. I'll tell you. A lot of guys had heard this year we're celebrating 35 years. Part of the fallout of this whole COVID was we had a big event planned for like May 17th, I think it was. We had a whole restaurant booked. We're going to take over a nice Sunday afternoon. But, of course, it all got rained on. But I'll tell you a funny story, 35 years. So I remember working the cash register. I used to work overnight when the store was open 24 hours. I had this guy come in every day. His name was John Porter, and he worked at a factory in town. And Bob and the other guys there will know Kraus Heinz is a very big employer on the northern side of the city. So anyway, one day I said to John, well, so how long you been working there? And he looks with great pride and he says, Mike, 37 years. And I thought to myself, I don't see myself driving to the same parking lot for 37 years. That was 26 years old, right? Looking at this long timer, you know, he had the answers and I didn't. I thought I did. So I always think about how long it's been, you know, who knows, you know, whoever sees that coming. But yeah, so we started out really as a full-blown neighborhood market. We bought it right from Rocky Salino. And he was just catering to the locals. There was a big factory nearby that made world famous suits. They had about 800 employees, and he was catering to those guys. And just like what happened in America, those suits went overseas, and the jobs went overseas, and the factory closed down. So here we are, just trying to reinvent ourselves, just trying to stay open. You know, I'm just a young guy. I'm living upstairs. You know, I got a wife and a kid, and never owned my own business. Just trying to sort everything out. And I've told the story, you know, a bunch of guys have heard it, but we're processing the magazines one day. And, you know, again, this is like 1988, right? So magazines are an important part of everyone's day, everyone's week, not like today with the internet. So on the cover of People magazine, I see Sly Stallone with a cigar in his hand. It's interesting. You know, he's smoking a cigar. And within a few days, I'm up late watching David Letterman. And you guys who are older remember David Letterman, right? He was classic. So Letterman walks out with his double-breasted suit, and his prop is his cigar. I go, Jesus, look at that. There's another cigar, right? So honest to God, I go downstairs, see my partner next day. I said, look, why don't we got this little sleepy humidor? It's got Temple Hall and Robert Burns Black Watch and White Owls and Macanudo and Tiamo and so forth, all mixed into one. And I said, why don't we get into cigars? It looks like all these pop icons are getting into cigars. I think we should take a shot here. So we just hit the ground running. Everyone was looking for direct accounts. Everybody just said, hey, welcome to the club. And away we went. And I was just telling some guys, just telling you the last chapter of the whole thing. Each day I'm driving home and I go by the public library of the village I grew up in. And I'm like, well, I got to learn about cigars. So what am I going to do? Well, it's 1988. There is no internet, right? There is no place to go.
And no cigar aficionado yet either, correct?
Exactly. So I pull in the library and I go up to the card catalog. You remember grade school days. They had to teach you the Dewey Decimal System. We all did all this bullshit, right? So I flip through the thing. I find cigars. I walk down that dusty rack. I'm looking for the number, the whole thing. And there's one book by Zeno Davidoff.
Oh, it's a good book,
in
actually.
Like 1970. I was probably the first guy to take it out in 10 years. Because, I mean, Pete was into cigars then, so he knows cigars at that time were just this underground current of enthusiasts, right?
In 1988, I wasn't into cigars yet. I was still living in Maine.
Oh, really?
I moved to Los Angeles in 89, and I grabbed my first cigar like right around 1990, 91.
Yeah.
And right before the cigar boom, but books were a big deal for me. I went to every antique shop or old bookstore, or rare bookstore, and I would buy every cigar or tobacco book I could find.
Yeah,
and including that Zeno Davidoff book.
Yeah, so that's where it was rooted. You know, I'm learning all about cutters and cigars and humidors, and you know, they invented the word humidor. You know, it's just crazy. So that was that long journey. That was a long time. Then boom, bust, boom. You know, we watched everything go up and go down and come back up again. I have to say right now, though, I would say last, 6-7 years maybe has been the best, nice, slow growth, really, really good for the business, for the industry, I'd say. So, yeah, that's my, short story. That's the one I tell at dinners.
Love it.
Yeah, it's been a good run.
Yeah, 1988, there wasn't much out there at all. Actually, the cigar business was technically failing in the late 80s. And, Marvin Schenken kind of gave it a shot in the arm. I mean, all the celebrities, obviously, like Stallone and Schwarzenegger with a cigar in their hand, are like, I want to try that too. And that's where Cigar Aficionado made out.
Yeah, exactly. And that was kind of the wave. I was just rolling the dice. I had no idea how big the wave would get, Yeah,
you were way before your time.
Yeah, we were a little ahead of things, and we were in good position all along the way. We were growing all the time, and people were looking for what we had. And I remember days where we would get our delivery, say 11 o'clock UPS came in, and customers would come in at 10 of 11 and just hover. and you'd cut open the box, and they'd go, all right, pull it out. Let's see what's in there. And because the shelves also, in the greatest part of the boom, the shelves were all empty because no one supplied you with what you ordered. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
I'll tell you this, and this story, I don't even tell much. Pete's first trade show, I gave him an order. I'll bet you it was for 120 boxes, and he never opened the account.
Couldn't ship it.
Honest to God.
Remember, I was packing the boxes by myself. I couldn't ship that many boxes.
I went down that list. I said, I'll take 10 of those, and 10 of those, and 10 of those, and 10 of those, right? And it took us years to get the account open. I don't know why. You're just busy. You know, you were just really busy. You were just duking it out with everybody.
Well, if you think about it, in 03, so I don't know actually when I saw you for the first time, but in 03, when I went to Nashville for the trade show at the Opryland Hotel, I got like 5 orders, and it was really from people I knew, and it was because I had to go run around and actually do orders for the Grand Event Room. So I was never in the booth. I just had the cigar sitting there in Cyril Broussard's booth. You know, if you know the brand Broussard & Co. So my product was sitting in his booth in a cabinet, and I would run around and actually do my regular job. So I just left. I left with 5 orders. I was like, oh shit, I got to pack all these. And then once the orders started coming, I'm like, shit, I got to find someone else to help me pack boxes.
They were great cigars at the outset.
Well, I hope they're still good.
Let me qualify that. Yeah, since the beginning, they've always been good. But,
right, cool.
I'll share then the first time that I remember meeting you, Pete. We were Pepin had just been smuggled out of the country, and we were all in Nicaragua, right, with Eduardo Fernandez.
Oh, you actually, we were with Tanya and Jeff Borshowitz too.
Yeah,
you remember that.
So we're down on this junket down there with Eduardo, and Pepin is being introduced around what great skills he has and terrific, and obviously the rest is history with Pepin. But he's only been in the country a few months in Nicaragua.
Well, actually, by the time we saw him down there, he had already started the production for my stuff in Miami. He was in Nicaragua for the first time in 01 and was free to travel back and forth to Nicaragua by the time 03 came. So, but not a lot of people knew about him in 03.
But you got the timing exactly right, because you come around the corner with a box of cigars, and you said to this small group of us standing there, "Hey guys, listen, you gotta try this guy's stuff. This guy's unbelievable blender. I'm telling you right now, his stuff's really great." And I look over, I go, "Oh, who's this new guy in the cigar business? Who's this new guy with the brand of cigars?" And it was Pete. He had like Petit Cazadoras or something. He had a small shape, that little box. He said, "Hey, you got to try."
I think I had a box of Noeas on me, actually.
Yeah, probably. It was something small. I'm getting old. My memory's not as clear as it used to be.
Yeah, probably would have been a box of Noeas. I carried those around a lot. Or sometimes I would have bundles of Corona Gordas, which I never made for anybody but myself up until about 2007. So it took a while.
Yeah, but that was the first time we met. Now I have Carlo on the call. Last year, for just a half a minute, we got to my father at 5 p.m. In August, we went down to Doral and hung out for a little bit. And I got Carlo back to see your operation in Miami there, where the guys were rolling. And he was going to take notes. He rolls cigars for me at the store. So he was very eager to take a look at the Cuban style.
Yeah, Cuban style is obviously a lot different than the Nicaraguan style, where they work in pairs in Nicaragua. And the Cuban style is old school. They do everything from start to finish, bunch and roll all themselves. Usually they start. Usually they'll finish their cigars that they bunch the night before. They'll roll them in the morning, then bunch a bunch of cigars for the next day. That's usually the order. Right now it's tough. And finally the factory just opened back up, and for about 3 weeks we had one roller rolling one cigar in the factory in Miami just to catch up on certain inventory. And then 90% of everybody came back. Actually, I say 95%. Actually, I can say 90% because there's only 10 rollers. So 9 out of 10 rollers came back. I think maybe the 10th roller is back already too. The guy who rolls all the little Series P Miamis has been out a little longer because he's older and we want to make sure he's safer. So.
Uh, 2 years ago this June, we had a big event that took place, and Mike looked at me and said, "Hey, can you learn in about a week?" Said, yeah, let me see what I can do. And I just started practicing and practicing. I brought in my first 50. I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And they looked like shit. He was like, "Just keep trying, though. Keep trying." So I'd go home every night after work and just keep rolling and keep rolling. And then the day of the event, I remember coming to Mike saying, "Hey, what do you think of these?" He was like, "Wow, okay, you got it." And then it really hit in, though, last year when we went down to Miami. Just started focusing and trying to watch everyone when we were in the factories to see how they were doing everything and learn how to do the triple cap and everything. And since then, it's been a totally different cigar. So it's really cool seeing how it evolved, within the last 2 years, because it really changed everything. Oh, God. I remember going to sleep at like 1 a.m. and I had to be back here for 6 a.m. And I looked at my wife and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just going to bed." She said, "Just going to bed?" My hands looked like the arthritis kicked in, everything, and I couldn't move them. The next day he was like, "You ready?" I said, "Sure, let's go." But it was fun.
So what Carlos not telling you is he taught himself watching YouTube. Right. He just kept looking at everyone else's stuff, saying, "Okay, you got to stretch it. You got to do what's the right side, the wrong side." And he's a trained pastry chef. So Carlo went to Johnson
Cakes and
Wales,
Cakes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cakes and Cakes.
Yeah.
Right? Trained pastry chef. So working with his hands and creating stuff really is right up his alley. So I'm not surprised that he took to it so fast and so successfully. If you've seen Cakes and Cakes, you've seen his kicks. They're really artistic too. They're awesome.
They are. Actually, I love the Louis Vuitton stuff that you've been doing.
For fun.
Yeah, that's right. We did sneaks. We did the sneaks for you guys.
Yeah, we still have them. I can't fit into them, but
Yeah,
I still
right.
have them.
That was a fun dinner.
Carlo, YouTube, I would recommend trying to avoid watching some of the people bunching cigars on YouTube, especially there's some laughable Cuban bunchers where I've actually just seen them murder cigars. So
when we went down to the factory, luckily on my father's side, we were able to see like the final end of it. And I just remember asking, I said, "Do you mind if I just take a quick look?" And he goes, "No, get as close as you want." And just watching how fast they were going, it was amazing. And to me, I looked at it like, Jesus, I don't even know where to start. And watching their speed, watching how accurate they were, it was pretty amazing. It's much easier to see in person, and that was my main goal out of the whole trip, was to get the in hands and watch, because that's how I am. Once I see it repetitive, just get down with it and just start doing it. It just all builds from there. But
yeah, in my head, I tell myself I can roll cigars, but I choose not to.
You have other people.
I've seen it done, a million times, and I'm like, okay, I know how it works. I know how to stretch the wrapper. I know how to bunch, filler. That seems pretty easy. So in my head, I can picture me doing it. I just refuse to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely refuse.
It's easier for someone else to, and then you enjoy it.
It's a bitch. Yeah, it's a bitch.
I'll tell you the greatest thing about Rockies, that basement is like a vault, because there's so much shit down there from the past 35 years. He's like, yeah, we'll put it in this corner. We'll find something. And finding molds, finding press, finding everything is like, oh, there we go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's introduce, we'll hear from Casey from Heritage Premium Cigars in Marlton.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
You bet,
Thanks for
Casey.
having me on here.
Thanks for being on. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's great to see you guys too. I wish we could be in person. Like everything else, right? We started out the Heritage Premium Cigar Shop. I kind of started out. I retired after the military after 21 years in the service, and went into the corporate sector for about 10 years, and was smoking cigars through all those years, and started looking around and decided to get into the business. And we happened upon a shop. We were able to acquire a shop that was already in business. And we decided to gut it, rebrand it. And that's where Heritage Premium Cigar Shop came from. We do have a retail area. We have a big walk-in humidor. We have a day lounge. And we also have a 24-hour access membership lounge where our members can come in 24 hours a day. With a key card access, and we have lockers, and we're not allowed to sell alcohol or anything like that, but it is BYOB, so they can come in and relax and have a good time. We've really over those years have really expanded just from a small shop into having the full membership lounge. Right now it's a little tough, everything's locked down. Matter of fact, I got members sitting outside on the sidewalk, social distancing and smoking right now. So. I always say, cigar smokers are going to find a way to smoke cigars.
Yeah.
They're going to find a way to hang out. So, they can put all the quarantine that they want, but people are going to still get together and smoke. So, but no, it's, our brand here is, our mission statement is basically customer service. We are brick and mortar. We have had to adjust our business model. I agree with Tommy. I did launch an e-com storefront for online. We do curbside, of course. We don't do any deliveries, just curbside delivery. But it's tough. It's tough finding tobacco is a high risk for credit card processing, especially online. So that's a hard thing to do. So it's taken a little while, but we finally have been able to jump to the hoops on that and hopefully get that going. But it's been a little tough here. We're kind of out of the way. We're not in the main cities. We're about 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. So we're kind of off the beaten path, but we do have great customers here. We have great members here that enjoy and have been really, patronizing our store during this time. So, it's been really helpful for us. Some of the things that we've done here, like I said, we've gutted the place, repainted, rebranded. We have won, when they were doing the contest, we were at South Jersey Cigar Shop 3 years in a row. And they stopped doing it because it was tobacco. So they stopped doing the test or stopped doing the polling. So, but still, so we can claim we got the top, we got 3 years in a row. So.
Casey,
Yeah.
do you find that your members, you have that private lounge that's key card access? So these guys can normally, they'd be able to come in 24 hours?
Yep, 24 hours a day. Yeah.
So do you find that you have to clean up after them a lot?
No, we run it like this, man. I told them from the very beginning, and we run everybody through a nice little contract. They know the rules and the regulations. We sign them up. It's a year-long contract. We do in-store purchases with that contract. So not only is there a entrance fee, but there is also, hey, if you're going to be here, you got to spend money here. So we feel as a retailer, that definitely helps us out, right?
Yeah.
Helps our business. They're not, they can have anything they want in their locker. I told them, I don't care as long as it's not illegal, So, but we have some guys here that they clean up after themselves. They get on the other members to clean up after themselves. Because I told them if I have to bring a cleaning crew in here, if my guys have to stay longer, guess what? Fees go up.
Yeah.
So they take the trash out. They clean up all the ashtrays. My rule here is, you got to empty your damn ashtrays, man. No one wants to smoke after or look at an ashtray after you. That's full of your cigars. So
True.
that's kind of my golden rule here is, empty your damn ashtray. It's not that hard. So, but no, we got great. We got. Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah, and
True. I've actually had more than my share of drinks in that place.
I mean,
We
these
all have.
guys, it takes a life of its own, right? I mean, the members, they get together, they do social herfs at everybody's houses. They, it grew into, they come up every Friday night and do a, bourbon tasting. And
Oh, that's cool.
they did all that on their own. I mean, I didn't do any of that. They do it all on their own. Hell, I walked in there one Friday night and it was like a dance club. There was men, the guys brought their wives. It was a sight. It's really cool when that grows, when you see that kind of camaraderie, everybody's smoking, having a good time and enjoying what we like to do. We like to socialize. We like to smoke. And, that's kind of what we try to cultivate here, in our shop. It's all about the experience. And granted, we're brick and mortar, so we stick with, customer service, and that's what we try to drive home with all of our employees and all of our customers and our members.
Yeah,
That's right. Well, with Facebook and all, you don't have to have a social director anymore, right? It's too easy. It's too easy to put stuff together. So one of the things that we also do here during COVID, we were shut down for 10 days. We followed the rules and we shut down for a full 10 days and gave me time to come in. I repainted, moved, kind of like what I was saying earlier, you move stuff around and you find a bunch of shit. You're like, oh man, I didn't even know we had this back here, that kind of stuff. And, but we did open up after 10 days and went curbside, and so it's definitely getting back to some kind of normalcy here. We are kind of, you hear rumors every day. I got guys coming up. I'm heard they're opening up the lounges in other places and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, until I see it in writing, I really don't want to break the law. That's just me. I don't want someone coming in and take our license. So we're just going to wait and kind of see what happens,
Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, for the AKC launch.
Mm-hmm.
We just did one last week with my father, with Steve. They was on, and since I went to the factory in Nicaragua in March, I had a slideshow. I put together like a 16 picture slideshow, and Steve and Jose walked through it with our members. And that's one thing we've been doing with the COVID kind of lockdown. Is every Friday night we do a members only Zoom meeting.
That's cool.
I think we're into our 10th one now. This week will be our 10th one. And it's basically, you guys run there. It's a bullshit session, right? Guys talking about movies, talking about books. It's just the way everybody's sitting around smoking, having a nice drink, talking about whatever, and so it's sometimes they go 4 hours. Sometimes I usually try to cut them off at 4. I can't. It's just tough, After work,
Cigars, couple drinks are good.
Yeah, after working all day and then sitting on the Zoom for 4 hours talking to people, it's a little rough. But no, it's good, man, and it's definitely kept it together. I think for us, just talking and seeing how people are doing, how people are coping. Some of the guys are like, "Hey, man, this is the only thing that's keeping me going. Is I know every Friday night we get a chance to talk." And
that's great.
It's working.
I think you have something to look forward to.
And you guys, I mean, Tata Wahe and Pete, Dan, and Casey, and Mo, and all your support staff have been fantastic for us. I mean, you guys have we've had some great events with you. From the tour to the Unlucky 13 to all of our times that you guys just pop in when you're in the area. I appreciate it. Our members, our customers, we all respect that, and we hope that we give you the love back that you've given us, for sure.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of things that's lost in the brands is that it's so easy to transition someone from my father to Tata Wahe. If you have guys that just aren't like, oh, I've never heard of what is Tati Wahe or whatever. They can't even pronounce it, first of all, so then you got to walk them through that. But it's so easy. Like, hey, you're smoking this, and my father, why don't you try this? You want to try something a little bit more flavor, a little bit more strength to it. Let's get you into this. The next thing you know, they're on that. You know, they're in the Hero number 2, or or into the surrogates line. The AKC has been flying off from our members, been flying off the shelf. The guys love it. So, that's the great part about that. That partnership that you guys have. It's so easy to go back and forth between the two brands. Really helps us sell it. So,
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Nice, guys. Bobo.
Bob,
Unmute Bob.
is that your nice members lounge that you can't use right now?
Not the cabin. Yeah, so like with us, obviously, I own the liquor store that was next door, and my father at the time owned the shopping plaza, and I took the space next door, and lovely New York told me if I put a vestibule in the middle, I could connect the two stores. I kind of copied his shop, I think in Saratoga or something. So we spent like $20,000-$30,000 doing that. And then I was selling stuff that complemented my liquor store. And basically we were bombing. I was losing, I don't know, $5,000 to $8,000 a month. I just remember my dream car was an Audi R8. And I realized after 1 year of losing so much money, I could have paid cash for $100,000 car brand new in 1 year and pay it off. But so I tried to get craft beer in here, like Pick 6, Pick 12, because it was getting hot at the moment. And the room I'm sitting in right now actually was part of the liquor store. I made all of my I put all New York State wine and craft spirits in here, and I tried to get beer, and New York State said if I wanted to get the beer, then I had to get rid of the vestibule. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I ended up, I think I just started getting into bourbon at the liquor store, and I started getting more on social media, and, all the posts, tons of posts with bourbon and whatnot had cigars in it. So I went out and bought this $100 little plastic humidor that I still have in the shop, and had no idea how to buy cigars. Went to one of the local shops, and she gave me like $1 off a stick on $1,000 order. And then Mike ended up helping me at Rocky's. And I think we ended up getting some tat, because I know one of Mike's guys is a big S&S OG, Buddha. So I started getting into that, and we weren't doing much business with cigars. I had one tower humidor that's now in my office and whatnot. So we just expanded, and then eventually what actually helped me when this COVID kind of started was I never had the lounge. So we were sitting out front going through 8 propane tanks a week or 10 in the freezing cold. And New York State wines and craft spirits started to, they hit their peak. They came down hard, and because they've become such a destination. So I finally got, the paperwork done, and we opened up the lounge. So at least when this hit for us, at first you didn't, I've never been through it. I don't think anyone on this page has been through where the government shut everything down. So I stayed open because technically I'm still a mart. I still have the snacks and things like that. And I beefed up mixers, which we can't keep stocked because people are just drinking so much. But so I stayed open to let people in. We restricted it. We put the plexiglass in. But like one of the first days, I don't know, I was just being dumb. And I was like, I should do like a COVID curbside. You've seen my hashtags. I try to be fancy. So we did that. And then like Mo even told me last week, he goes, Bob, I looked at your Instagram page. You got to just keep scrolling to get to your old pictures. And I counted, and it's been like 70 deals in a row. And I'm like, I'm out of ideas. So, but when I really first thought like, I'm going to go broke, I had to sit and calm down for a minute and realize, I did this in the winter in upstate New York with no lounge. So at least I'm in the spring. So I have no lounge in the spring. I've done this before. So, I just kind of started doing samplers. I gave away toilet paper, candy bars, energy drinks, and whatever. Because the truth was, I didn't want to lose you know, we got a handful of guys that live a few miles from my shop that live out here, and I didn't want them to learn how to start buying from the big boys online because they may never come back. And that was my biggest fear, is to maintain my guys. Called a couple salespeople in the beginning and just said, hey, you know, what can I do? Can I do 3-in-1s and 4-in-1s as if it's a little Thursday night in-store event? Because right now we're competing against the CIs and the you know, JRs of the world, and they don't follow too many rules. So, you know, I don't want to lose my guys. And that's the other thing. People are creating new shopping habits. They're buying higher end drinks, and they're building bars at their house, and they're cooking more. And that's going to hurt restaurants and retail business. So I really just tried to attack to keep my regular guys, because in the beginning of this, the weather here kind of stunk. Like, it was miserable. Like, we did not have like a fluke March. It was rainy and cold because guys borrowed my heat lamps. So like, you know, like I'm like, you know, I have propane tanks and heat lamps that we don't use anymore, and they borrowed them. I didn't care. And I want, you know, and so I kind of went to that, and I've just done these COVID-19 deal of the days, all increments of 19 for, I don't know what it's been, 70 days in a row. So, I mean, the other day I'm giving away a pair of socks. I mean, I'm running out of ideas. So, but it's like the other guys have said, it's been kind of fun. I did originally think it would be so awful business-wise. I would have been able to paint and reset the humidor, and there's just been, you know, I didn't stay open late at night because in the beginning in upstate, and Mike probably knows too, a lot of people thought we had an 8 o'clock curfew like Mo had in Jersey. We never had it, but because our big grocer, Wegmans and Walmart and Home Depot closed at 8 o'clock, I closed at 6, and we stayed open longer on the weekends for the through traffic from my liquor store. And we've since expanded our hours, but and then we had the curfew because of the rioting. So I've been able to maintain. I had to switch something up. I don't have the inventory. I don't have the e-commerce or a website to sell the regular old products, and I don't really know how to do the bookkeeping with the tobacco tax that's collected from the other companies to back it out, you know. So I kind of just got lucky with some stuff from some of the boutique companies, a lot of tat, obviously, and because guys wanted it, you know, guys from different areas, maybe like Tommy said, you know, if there's a local shop near you, you want to smoke Tatuaje, and the guy down the road might have been closed. I'm not picking on him. If their county said you had it closed, the guys want cigars, and I know Tat and some of the other boutique companies are not all over the regular big guy website. So we made up for a little bit of our lost lounge business with those small online purchases, and it's really pretty cool. And we offer curbside, and about 1 out of every 100 customers, the cigar guys want to come in. They don't want to wear a mask. They don't want to, you know, I mean, they just like, I sell little spray hand sanitizers. I've sold like 400 at the liquor store, and we sold 12 in the cigar shop. And I mean, my business has been solid over here with walk-in. And so I just went like that. With the lounge, I don't think technically, I mean, Mike might know more than me, I don't think we ever had it closed because they never put cigar lounges in any of the literature when they said barbershops and hair salons and tattoo artists had to close. They didn't bring us up. I stayed open under a convenience store. I even put the number in of what our business is. It says we were allowed to be open. I just don't want to dink around with it. The weather broke. I'm thinking when bars and restaurants open, if Cuomo allows it, that we'll open the lounge. If they say half capacity, then I can let, I think, about 10 or 11 guys in. And so be it. You know, at least on a rainy day, they have somewhere to come. I pulled our chairs from out front because at the time they were busting restaurants. They were letting people hang out on their property, eating on the tailgates or a picnic table. They since changed that last week. So maybe next week I'll put the chairs out. I mean, it's a gray area. And the sad part is we're licensed by them, and I can't afford to lose my tobacco license or distributor's license or whatnot. So I think you're better safe than sorry. I really haven't done much in here. You know what I mean? Like, I'll smoke because I would assume I can't get in trouble. It's still mine. So
Sorry, Bob.
No.
Who were we talking to recently that said they're allowed to be open the whole time because they sold dry goods, and cigars have been considered dry goods since like the beginning of time? Was that Vinny down at Smoke Inn, I think, in Florida?
So I looked up the other day. I looked up Onondaga County, our county, on New York State's website, said find out if your business can be open. You have to look up a code. So I looked up a code with the United States, and where tobacco stores have a certain number. I just did this last Friday. It was raining out. I punched that code into New York State's website. It comes back. I'm a tobacco store. I don't even have to write anything in. And this is before we opened up the restaurants, which was Saturday or Sunday. And it said we could be open. It's a tobacco store. You could be open statewide. Onondaga County, you're allowed to be open. Now, you take it to the other level and tell 10 guys they can come in here when they're not letting people sit in the restaurants. I don't know. Can I let 3 guys in? I've just said no. If the weather was still crappy, I probably would have pushed it because I would be hurting. But we'll see. In the next 2 weeks, I'll probably make a decision when they go to bars and restaurants. If they say like 20%, then I can let 3 people in. I mean, I don't 4 people. So, yeah. They're basically now they're all just meeting at different guys' houses each day, and they bring snacks. I mean, like Casey said earlier, cigar guys have built. You know, I mean, I turned my garage into a little cabin. Like, I mean, guys are gonna find us real cigar smokers. We're degenerates. I mean, we smoke. You know, you drive off a car lot with a brand new car, and you know you're lighting a cigar. I mean, there's no.
And I mean that in the nicest way.
I mean, so yeah, us what helped was the weather broke. You know, Mike knows all of a sudden the guys that are golfing, I've got 5 golf courses north of me. And now you're seeing the guys that are not the degenerate cigar smokers. They're, you know, my flavored stuff's getting hit. And we've never been a good acid store or flavored cigar store, probably because we don't smoke it, even though that's what I started with. So every guy that comes in a pie, I bought CAO flavor packs from Mike 20 years ago. And I think with smoking was 18. And it's like just like the liquor business. You start with sweet wines, and some people stay with a sweet wine for the rest of their life, and some people turn into Pete. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and
guys who look
Pete was drinking
I know that
Stand.
New York, some parts of New York, Dan and I found out have some amazing slushies, wine slushies.
Dude, they opened up wine slushies at the fairgrounds with Pizza Free. They had thousands of people in line. That's how much people just want to get out of the house. So,
Hey, man, it's upstate New York. There isn't too much to do here when the weather's not.
No,
So you guys have your state fair going?
they have not canceled it.
Haven't canceled, but not looking good. But I think the governor would like it to happen, but he hasn't said no yet.
Didn't he say, Mike, as long as all parts of the state are open, he'll have it, which means he'll open New York City the week before the fair. And it's a big money. I mean,
That's what he was telegraphing, huh?
You know,
You'll notice that my brother had to jump off real quick. He had to go run out of the house for a little bit of a family emergency, but everything's good. But he had to jump off.
No worries.
And I don't like Mo, but I still
Okay.
because I like Cigar. Yeah,
He's the only one, but that's
everyone's
okay.
giving Mo all these props. I mean, come on.
I would guess that
So who do you like better, Steve or Mo?
Steve's all right. I mean,
No.
I don't know. We did a.
He's not actually, but he will
we
be.
had a get laid with Steve because he's Hawaiian, and I had Mo get tattooed at an event. So and Dan was there. So,
I don't know if you can see it. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I had a tattoo artist and a beard trimmer here. That probably won't fly moving forward the next couple months. So,
Yeah, it'll be a while.
So it's been different, you know what I mean? And, but the truth is, I always say this, like at the liquor store, people are it's a different level. And over here, it's if you don't have a guy's cigar, and the truth is, stuff's been out of stock. I mean, I've put $3,000 orders in and gotten $600, and guys are okay with it right now. They're like, well, what else will I like? And when you own a business, that's like such a good line to hear instead of getting cursed out like I do at the liquor store. So, it's no complaint.
Well, Mike can probably attest to this. During the boom, it was, if you didn't have what they wanted, they would wait for the box to open. But if you didn't have what they wanted, they would curse you out. They would get upset.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything was back ordered.
No one believed that you didn't have them. And I didn't believe that the suppliers didn't have them. I remember calling guys and going, I want that goddamn shit. Where's my stuff? You just thought it was going to come out of thin air. But the demand had so outstripped supply in that first boom.
That's the liquor business right now. Everything's out of stock. They can't. I mean, Patron's out of stock. And people look at us because I'm a small
Which is amazing, by the way. Think about Patron. They just sold for what, $5.1 billion. You think Bacardi would want to recoup that money really quickly.
They must just legitimately. I mean, Captain was out of stock. Patron, the Rock's new tequila is out of stock. They didn't order right. They didn't know that people were going to turn into these mixologists at their house, the non-everyday drinkers. And it's
I love a home mixologist.
But you see it on social media. People's bars started like this. The people that are going out for happy hour, and all of a sudden their bar is – I've sold more Grand Marnier than I have maybe in the last 5 years, in the last 10 weeks. It's just – I can't keep up with it, and they're out. They're out of so much stuff, and people don't. I'm 20 minutes away from downtown Syracuse, which isn't the biggest city in the United States. I'm in this little area, and we're a small shop, and people just look at you dumbfounded if you're out of some new tequila. And I'm like, the 1942 Don Julio has been out of stock since before Cinco de Mayo.
Hey, seriously, though, you're talking about mixologists. Are you really talking about Stevie right now? Because Stevie, I think, wants to become a bartender.
Oh, does he really?
Oh, yeah, he's got lessons.
He's got the lessons.
Steve just wants
two cards. He's got
Corn
two cards.
I think he just wants to go to Hawaii. Maybe they'll give him the territory out there, and he can just move out to Hawaii.
I believe I've seen him drink a
I don't think he's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think
you need to have like 80 brands in Hawaii to survive.
Yeah.
Mushabi 2.0, and it's going to be Steve.
So who has found fun stuff in their humidor that they – well, Tommy, we can't ask you because your humidor is brand new. But who in the room has found stuff hidden in their humidor that they didn't realize that they had? And like cool old stuff. It doesn't have to be top to white, but really cool old stuff that you're like, wow, I forgot about that.
My humidor is too small. I know.
I found a 15-year-old cigar, Pete, in an unused humidor. It was the 110th anniversary J.C. Newman Diamond Crown Maximus.
Oh,
that
wow.
one that was that weird shape. And I saw it, and then I looked up the information because I didn't remember it. It was part of a humidor that had like 40 cigars in it. 4 different blends, 10 of each, whatever it was. And I said, I'm not going to smoke it. The only person I know who would appreciate this cigar because he's always so generous with me is Alberto. So I met up with Alberto last week for a social distance double espresso, and we both had our masks on. And of course, he always comes bearing gifts. And I'm like, dude, you don't, thank you. And I literally gave him this, and he goes, what the hell? Like he just lost it. So it was good to see him excited about that. So I said, you know what? I have one. I'm going to give it to him. Let him smoke it.
Casey, what did you find that you mentioned something that you found stuck behind other boxes?
I was just talking about. Well, we keep our humidor pretty tight. I mean, I have some stuff that's aged pretty well. 2010, 2012.
Oh, nice.
Some Anejos, things like that.
Dan and I found La Riquezas like 2009s or 2010s. Like 3-4 years ago when we were there, and Ed was there, and we just went, yeah, we'll take all of these.
Yeah,
we're going to buy these right now.
That's usually what happens if we're in a store and we find old cigars. We usually buy them back from the store.
Yeah. I have no problem. I found a full box last year, and then I found another box with like 6 or 8 of them in there. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just take these. Thank you.
Now all that stuff's pretty much. I try to keep it pretty tight. You know, let stuff sit around too long without trying to do something with it. You know.
Mike, did you and Carlo clean up the shop pretty good during this time? Did you guys find anything interesting?
Well, yeah. The only thing I can think of that I really like is I found some Camacho Dark Naturals from way back in Christian's first run. Yeah, those were long.
Yeah.
Like a whatever. Those
were
guys,
they? Curiosity on that were they box pressed or round?
It was round. It was diploma.
Okay, so that was like that was the wave after. That was during the diploma years because Camacho went from box press no cello to box press with cello, and all of a sudden one day the shipment showed up round, and you're like, you kind of lost the feel.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I love that. I love that wrapper back in the day, but I gotta say, I'm a little bit like Casey, and I might be even more extreme. I'm always telling the guys, I am not a collector. Put this cigar up for sale.
You got your own personal humidor at home. All right, use that. Don't use the shop.
Like, want to put these here? Do you want to put these there? Just order more, and then we'll sell them. I enjoy selling cigars.
I wanted to tell you guys what I was thinking about doing this week, and I'll tell you, this is going out to retailers and customers, right? So our plan this week for our COVID event on Friday night, we're actually going to do an outside showing of hand rolled.
Oh, beautiful!
Nice.
So last
Great.
Friday, I don't know if you could see it. Last Friday we did one of our members was leaving, going overseas. And we did a 25 person because that's most you could have, and kind of did a little outside of it. So then they're like, well, let's do a movie night. And I'm like, oh, crap. I've started this monster thing's happening now. Now I got to do this stuff, right? So,
am I ever going to get out of here?
Exactly. So, So now my idea was to kind of do a movie night, and guys are like, I'm not paying for that movie, blah blah blah. I said, well, I have it, so we'll just show it outside.
Very cool.
We're gonna.
Hey, Mike.
Well, I think everybody on the call has had the monsters, right?
Yeah,
some form of it.
Yeah.
And like you said, you created a monster. Like that's exactly why I've always said that my monster is the biggest nightmare of the year. It always causes issues, and it usually, thankfully, you guys are still here, but it's actually closed down a lot of shops.
Like the Madden cover.
Over whether they get it or not, huh?
No, they've had it, and some people have actually gone out of business.
Oh,
that's why it's called the Unlucky 13, because there's actually more than 13 retailers that have gone out of business.
Wow.
Oh, that is crazy.
Thanks, Pete. and Mike, what's our tax going to?
Well,
Any
so
good
if
news?
nothing changes, it's going to go to the full 75. Right now it's 75, and you get to discount it backwards to 28 or so. And if nothing changes, it's going to be going to a full 75. There is a very slim chance that we're still going to be able to get it back to what it used to be. We do got 3 good points. You're going to put stores out of business, which you don't want to do. You're going to put guys in unemployment, which you don't want to do. And they aren't going to get the taxes, which you desperately need. We put together some tax payments from a bunch of shops going back to 2010 before the tax change to current. And everybody's now paying more tax than they did at the full 75 because sales have increased. So, and added employees and contributed back to the economy in that way. So we're hoping we have a little bit of an argument to sway this back. But, man, New York's just really tough. They passed the budget right through the COVID meetings. I mean, Cuomo was doing Save New York from COVID and pounding his desk saying, I need 40,000 respirators and a hospital ship. And then they said, what about the budget? You said, oh, they'll pass it. Don't worry about them.
It in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Middle of the night, no one could lobby. We couldn't get up there, tell them our story, talk about getting it changed. Everything was done under the dark of night. It's horrible.
October 1st, right, Mike?
October.
So we understand
1st, right?
that October 1st is when it would go into effect. But we understand that since they passed it April 1st, every 30 days, because of the way it was passed, every 30 days they're revisiting the budget to sort through that mess because no one really even knows what they voted for. We're hoping we have 2 lobbyists. The NYTA has hired 2 lobbyists in Albany. We have a third one, but he works, actually flies in from Arizona, a PCA lobbyist. So we have 2 lobbyists in Albany on the ground trying to open.
Which guy that comes in for you from the PCA?
Brett.
Okay.
The
PCA is working hard, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're on some calls with them talking about what we can do. They want to do they want to go the route of Maryland and do a defined premium cigar. Go back and get the taxes lowered on premiums. Let them have at it with the machine maids and the flavors that they're truly after, youth smokers and all that. I'm just a little hesitant to go there because in New York State, it's going to put us out on an island, and you're awful exposed. You're right out there for them to say, hey, let's jack you guys up and make some more money. So we're trying to keep all the parties together and get this thing back to where it was.
Sounds like I need to do a New York only release of something to give you guys a little bit of an influx.
That would be music to our ears, man. Awesome.
So what we're doing here is we're hoping for the best but planning for the worst, because it's like Bob started to say 10-1, so that if it goes into effect 10-1, it would be the MT 202 form for November 20th, where that 75 would be due, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're looking to do is look at alternative revenue streams to absorb some of that increase, so that we're not having to jack up the prices both online to out of state and to our in-store customers here. And so I've been polling a lot in the private groups that I run. Facebook has been instrumental in getting that data, and we're looking at affordable things with good margins that we can bring in that are things that you don't buy once, but rather buy maybe once a quarter, things of that nature, to help offset some of that cost. I'm kind of lucky, I think, in the area that I'm in that it's a new market and the money's here either way. So if I have to make a $9 cigar $17, they're none the wiser. But I don't want to do that in the first place, because that's just not my MO. I'm not in this to make $1 billion. It's never going to happen. So we're trying.
Guys, are they talking about a floor tax by any chance?
So we're not sure, but I know it's going to sound a little sneaky, but it's actually written in the law at 75%. And then if you can follow in the tax department, they allowed us to do a equation to lower it to 28.5 of the 75. So we're hoping that the interpretation is, if it's going to 75 without any equation, that there won't be a floor tax, because it really has been 75 all the time. I don't know if it doesn't sound right, but we kind of pulled a fast one there and it worked. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a good way to frame it. So the rebate would disappear going forward, your future purchases, but we haven't got confirmation on that yet. It's one of these monthly things we're trying to get sorted out so everyone can go in knowing, what's going on.
Then what would they, if we bought in then, but if we bought in then, do you think, so like all to this collects from me or whatever, would I then, whatever I still have on October 1st, or November 1st, I'd have to pay, or you would have to pay for everything in the basement, everything, so that we can't load up?
Well, that's what they call a floor tax.
Yeah.
And that's the idea that there is a good chance. I think it's better than 50-50 that there won't be a floor tax. But again, I'm not a tax advisor. We're up there trying to get that message across. I think the way the law got written, it's one of the few things we can apply to and get the right outcome, and it won't be a floor tax.
Yeah, because that's what it was when I opened. I opened when it was the real 75.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, because you take it was a 75%,
Yeah.
you collected on it, and we were way out of whack. Like, people would come in, I buy these online. I was new. I buy this online for $10 and you're 22 or something ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't know. So it was, I think, the first year or 8 months, that's what it was.
Okay. Sure. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
When did you open, Bob? When was it you opened? Because we did a lot of business when you first opened.
I opened this. I screwed up. Our 6th anniversary was April 2nd, and I forgot.
Oh, forgot
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. So obviously I've had the liquor store 15 years, and then I opened this, and I think like a year into it, I started getting cigars. So maybe I've had cigars for 5 years or
5.
maybe 6. Yeah. Not a ton. I'm still new on the block, but, seen a lot already. So
Casey, isn't yours coming up 6, right? This November?
Yeah, 6th of November for us.
6th of November, right?
Yeah, 6th of
Casey, what's the tax in Jersey right now?
30%. It's 30.
That's been holding steady for a while, right?
Been holding steady, but
Yeah.
we just got screwed March 1st when the governor signed in a law that we're not allowed to discount any more tobacco products.
Right.
So we were given 10% for veterans, firefighters, law enforcement. We had a membership discount, we had a rewards program. All that stuff got taken away.
Yep.
Really?
And they literally,
That came through the New York budget also, and we got a definition in there that exempted us because it was going to be flat out, absolutely no discounts, no free cigars, no way to market the product anymore. But we got a little bit of an exemption in the wording. Can't remember exactly.
I don't think we have any lobbyists here in New Jersey. This came out of, to me, it came out of nowhere. They literally told us 10 days before the law was signed. And it's been tough, man. It really hurt us.
Well, Jersey has a state association. They're probably using the same PCA lobbyists that New York would be using.
Yeah, very possible.
I think Casey, you got to get in touch with I'll put you in touch with a couple. I think I gave you Gary, Dave Mallow, and Andy Kirstein.
Yeah, but you never.
Those are the guys you should talk to.
The email. You said, "Oh, I'll email you. I'll hook you up."
Yeah, I'll follow up with him again. But yes,
Mo doesn't know.
Hey, listen. I sent him the info, and these guys don't follow up, man. And it's funny because they're one of them's a lawyer, which is amazing.
Listen, I'm ready to go, man. I'll go talk to anybody. I'll go up to the state, Trenton, and talk to anybody about it, man. Because to me, it's unfair business practices, man. You can't. You're telling me you can't sell a legal product at what? Now, granted, I know you understand. You have to have your taxes, and you want all the state tax, and as long as I can show that I'm paying that to you, I don't understand how you can control what I can sell a product at.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. So, I don't know. They just didn't.
The question is there a way around it?
Well, what we've done is what I've done in my shop is this is recorded, right? So,
but I mean, you could probably get away with price levels.
Well, what I did was I took all my boxes and I decreased all my box sales to 10%. So that's what as long as it doesn't state there's any discount, this is the price you pay for a box.
Yeah. So you're not doing it at the register anymore. You're actually it's part of the price when it's on the shelf. Yeah.
Exactly.
But the sad part is like with New York, and I don't know, Mike would know more than I would. Do you know what I mean? Like, just add the tobacco tax, the current 28.5% at the bottom of the bill from all the big online cigar guys, and force people into, as much as none of us would want to say it, have a couple more small shops like me somewhere. There's nothing down in Binghamton because it's too close to PA, and guys can order. They're ordering even the bundle cigars and this and that. You hear what they tell us, just at the bottom of the bill should have an 8% sales tax, 28.5% New York State tobacco tax. And you might actually start getting guys to walk into more brick and mortars. But New York State and in most states work everything so backwards. And it's like when they upped the cigarette law, everyone just went and bought cigarettes from the casino or the Indians, or they make a PA run. And it's just like you can add it. They added sales tax onto eBay from New York to New York, and Amazon, wherever they have a warehouse now, you pay an 8% sales tax because the counties are getting killed on their school taxes and this and that. Put it on the bottom of these bills. Now, obviously, a little guy might not collect it, but your CI, your JR, your Cigar Page, whatever the online ones, let them start collecting it. And maybe they'll just say, hey, we're not even going to bother with New York anymore. And we'll have more people walking in the doors, and maybe a new shop opens in Binghamton or way up north in Watertown or something. And create more money at your 28.5%, because I bet you a lot of cigars are still being bought in New York online. Like, I mean, there's not a million
absolutely.
tobacco shops.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to venture a guess that the political will to do that isn't there for this, among other reasons. But
because they pretend they don't buy everything online. They pretend if Rocky, Tismart, and Nickel City.
I think the states don't want you, the consumer, to know what that tax actually is. We've had accounts in other states that have tried to do the following. All right, cigar MSRP is $10. All right, sales tax there is $8. Right? What do you see on your bill? You see sales tax, right?
Yeah.
And so to be competitive, they started OTP tax as a line item like sales tax. And the state came in and said, absolutely not, you can't do that.
Really?
And it's like, why? It's a tax. I want them to see it. Plus, on the shelf, that cigar that's supposed to be $10 shows $10, right? Now, when you ring out, it's $16 total, but it says $10. And so that's the truth behind what the consumer is actually paying. And that I got a couple of examples, but the one specific state that I was thinking of, they said, absolutely not. You have to, even to the point where your sales tax calculation is wrong, because your sales tax should be on the price of the cigar. And if you want to price the cigar with the OTP in it, which is what everybody does, right? State by state. So that $10 cigar in Illinois, let's say, is $14, right, on the shelf. Then they want sales tax on the $14. But they also don't want the consumer to know that state tax is 38%.
No,
or,
the consumer thinks we own it for $5 and we're selling it for $16.
Yeah.
But exactly. Going back to what Casey said before, so imagine part of that March 1st thing also is that you can't advertise any discounts. So if you get a pre-pack from another company that gives you the buy 4 and get 1 free, you can't. So even like some of the shops that had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday recession buster special, buy 5, get your least expensive cigar free, the 6th one, you can't do it. You have to take away even that advertising part of it. They don't want anything free, no discounts, nothing mentioned in any advertising, be it digital or be it handheld or in-shop signs, anything. It all had to go away. And
I agree with Casey's point, which is, look, if we do that, right, even if I didn't pay for the cigar, I can find out what and report what the MSRP should have been, right? So let's say it's a free 3-pack that we throw in at an event. All right, so that's worth $30. All right, Casey, you put that on your monthly tax and you show these cigars came in and they went out, and here's your tax, Mr. State. So it cost you a couple bucks rather than the fact that you can't even do it.
Yeah, it's really tricky. The whole thing, they just make it really, really difficult. You're always having to reinvent yourself, retrench, reinvent, pull forward. Crazy. It's crazy.
That's why the caps really work. When a state has a 50-cent cap or whatever it is, because now it is pretty easy to say, okay, so you got 50 cigars that came in on that invoice and they were free. You still owe us 20 bucks or whatever, right?
Yeah. 25.
Yeah, at 50. Yeah. That should be that should be
math.
And then, so you're not paying wholesale on it, but you are paying the OTP tax. What else do they have to gripe about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the other ironies in New York, Bob touched on it. He's talking about the people shopping in Pennsylvania and the other states. There was a point where Cuomo, he gets they crown him. He's like the greatest governor in COVID, blah, blah, blah. The guy sucks. He went out and said, I don't want my residents state shopping. So I want Connecticut and New Jersey and New York to open up at the same time. If the restaurants in Connecticut open, New Yorkers are going to flood to Connecticut and start state shopping their dinner, and they're going to go. So one of the members, Pam from Edley's, she said, we got to throw that right back in his face, because 75% tax doesn't do state shopping. That's all everyone's going to do.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, even Jersey, right? And the proximity of Jersey to the biggest center in New York City. I mean, it's happened before. It happened when you guys were truly 75%. All anybody did was drive across the bridge and buy cigars.
Yeah. Get to Pennsylvania, it's home free. To talk about station.
Yeah.
To coin his own phrase.
Yeah.
He's a good speaker.
Well, that's why I wish my brother was on, because we have a good argument between Cuomo versus Cuomo. I think I'm the younger, better looking Cuomo.
Yeah. Johnson versus Johnson. We'll get you guys on CNN.
I don't know, Pete, that makes Casey the love gov.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, but isn't the younger one the more angry one, the one that wanted to fight the guy or something?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because he works out 3 hours every day.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know he's quarantined in the basement with the gym. That's it.
Well, we're going to stick on for a few minutes, but we just want to thank you guys for sharing all of your experiences, and hopefully when people see this, they'll visit you the next time they're in Buffalo or Jersey or Syracuse.
Yep.
And,
yeah, that's the whole point of these things. Is we really try to focus on getting people to see brick and mortar stores that they might not know about, and hopefully when they're in your territory, they come visit you. And it's all about promoting brick and mortar. So thanks for being on with us, guys.
Yeah.
Again, Dan says we're going to stick on even after we stop recording, but
right.
We really appreciate the time you took with us today, and we'll talk some more as soon as we're done with the record button.
Yeah, for sure. Mo, thanks for the invitation, guys. Great idea. Really
Thank you, Mike.
Together, getting ready to see everybody. It was really fun. Good to catch up with you
yeah,
guys.
absolutely.
See you guys.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Casey.
Gotta make it up to you guys a shout.
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Stay healthy.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
You too.